Hello, welcome back. My name is Patrick JUNTAK, and you can call me PJ. Today I'm going to show you a very short segment on how to choose an avocado when you are at the store. This is an example of an avocado that we have from our farm. Now, when you choose an avocado, obviously you should really want to find something that is unblemished, as clean as possible, if possible, right? And you don't want to have any very deep marks. If you have a little bit mark like this, it should be fine. If it's a little bit like kind of veiny like this, it should be fine. But if you see a very dark spot and it looks kind of deep and it's deep crusted, you probably want to avoid that. Most likely it's kind of diseased. It will either be Pittophthora, or it might be another one which is a lot more worse. Could be Fusarium. They're both viruses as well as bacterial. It depends what it is, and it's a problem. When you see that, it's probably going to be early drop, or because it's diseased, and obviously you really don't want to eat it. And even if it does ever get ripe or soft, should I say, it's going to be very bland and you're not going to like it. Okay, so when you go to a farmer's market, or especially if you're fortunate enough to live in an area where there is avocado farm and you befriend the avocado farmer there, see if you can choose something that is, how do I say, one is more rounded shape. That's number one. The rounder, the better. The reason being, if you find an avocado that is way too ovoid or too oblong, it's kind of too long like that, the problem is you'll have a seed right here in the middle, and what happens when it is oblong or ovoid like that, the thickness of the meat, they're not going to be even. And what happens is when it is uneven like that, when the meat starts to ripe, it's not going to be ripe at equally. Okay, so you really don't want to find something that's too oblong. If as possible, find something that's more rounded. The rounder, the better, if possible, if you can avoid so. Okay, and I don't really have much of a preference between the green ones, the darker colored ones, or purple or whatnot. There's me no preference. Okay, find whatever you can find. All right, so that's number one. Find something small, rounded. And number two, find something that is for each fruit is roughly around 170 grams to 450 grams. So you're looking at anywhere between roughly, if you divide that 170 divided by 32 grams per ounce, I believe, you're looking at roughly maybe 4 or 5 ounces all the way to, let's say, 15 ounces. So around that area, okay? The reason being, you don't want an avocado, obviously, if it's too small, because a lot of times if it's too small, it will probably be an early drop. So you don't want an early drop. So when avocado has an early drop, it's most likely because it's under water stress, or it's disease, or it's just have problems, strong winds that fell it, whatever. Just don't get something that's too small, for obvious reasons. The second one is you don't want something that's too big. If it is too big, let's say if it's more than 450 grams, more than a pound, more than a kilo, something like that. Now, you have people who will say, hey, that's good, I like it big, I'm a man, I can eat a lot of avocados. Well, here's the problem, okay? When you eat a very large avocado like that, the average person, unless if they are very, very hungry and they have a very, very big stomach, or they always try to feed a family, you're not going to finish an avocado that big. So what often happens is you'll probably cut it half, you'll eat half now, and you put the other half into the fridge, and you're probably going to eat it maybe half a day later or a day later. The problem is once you've left it like that for an extended amount of time at the fridge, it's not going to be fresh anymore. I really do not encourage you to buy the avocado, the large versions. You're going to waste a lot. That's number one. And number two, I mean the other reason as well, if it's too big, the problem is, as I was saying earlier, what reason number one is that when an avocado is not rounded, and number two, when it's big, what happens when you press it, okay, to find out what is the ripeness of it, is that the small ones, like the smaller ones, you know, 170 grams to 450 grams, when you press it, that's how you know whether it is ripe and it's ready to eat. And a lot of times, when the small ones, you have a lot of leeway. You have a lot of, it's more forgiving, should I say. When you press it and it is kind of, you know, ripe and you can touch it, you know you can eat it. Now, the big avocados, on the other hand, by the time you press it, because it's relative, it has a very thick rind, when you press it, it doesn't, by that time it's already too late. It's already too ripe, because the inner meat of it is going to be, is already ripe, but the outer side, the outer ones that's closer to the skin is not yet ripe. So when you press it and it's kind of moist, you know, kind of soft to the touch for the big avocados, then you already know it's going to be overripe. Okay. Oftentimes for those big avocados, you kind of have to time it. You have to know when did you buy it, and or when did it fall off a tree. You picked it from a tree, should I say, and you kind of have to time it how many days, and it takes time for you to figure out the true optimum ripeness to it. So that's why I discourage you to buy those big ones. And let's be honest here, more and more family sizes are getting smaller in size. Rarely do you see people, it's becoming harder and harder to find a family the size of 6 people in a household, or 10 people, or even 4. I mean, more and more people nowadays, they're either a single, or maybe it's just a couple maybe. Even if they have a child, they probably only have one child. So a lot of times, you know, the smaller size, the 170 grams to 450 grams, is kind of the sweet spot for buying avocados, okay? That way you can always keep it fresh, and you only open it up when it is already, you're about to consume it, okay? And the other thing as well is, if you notice here, when you go to a market, if at all possible, if you find an avocado that's kind of like very, very shiny, you know, this one, very, very shiny, a lot of times that means it's actually still young in age. It wasn't prime for picking, but they pick it anyway. So it was kind of picked too early, should I say. So what do you do? What you really want to find is, if you want to look for avocados, if possible, find something that's kind of a little bit opaque in the skin, kind of, how should I say? Kind of like waxy just a little bit, and basically it's not too bright. And a lot of times when something is kind of opaque, like such as this one, for example, this is kind of like not very, you know, shiny, whatnot. And this is usually, you know, it was picked at the maximum ripeness. Okay. The reason why I keep on using the word pick, because unlike the fruit of durian, for example, durian fruit, you know, it is its most optimum peak ripeness when it falls off the tree. Okay. But for avocados, what happened is, as long as it's still sticking in the tree, it will never ripe. The only time it will ever ripe, you have to pick it from a tree, and it has to be under room temperature, then it will ripe. Otherwise, it will never ripe. Okay? And what else? And on top of that, what I really encourage you to do is that you do have to kind of experiment and try different avocados and see which one you like, okay? Whether it be the Haas, whether it be Pinkerton, whatever it might be, it doesn't really matter. At the end, avocados are still avocados, but you do want to avoid the stringy ones. Those are available and whatnot. Now, the avocado I have in my hands right now here, we grow this at our farm. We don't really have a name for the cultivar for this because we planted it and we loved the fruit. It was very good quality, and we propagated for thousands of trees. So we don't have a name, specific name like the kind of avocado names that you are familiar with. So we're just going to call it Avocado JUNTAK, okay? Because we isolate it and we propagate it and we like it, and it grows very well. And one of the biggest benefit of this avocado fruit that we are growing, it has been proven that at our farm it is resistant towards Phytophthora palmivora, so which is again, it's a kind of disease, and as well as Fusarium. Okay, it's Fusarium, believe it or not, it's attacking everything. It's attacking avocados, attacking durian, attacking mango, banana, whatever. Why is all these diseases attacking? It's because of climate change. So yes, climate change does affect farming, including avocado farming, and we are very fortunate to have this avocado that we are able to isolate and able to propagate, and we can grow that it is resistant to Fusarium and also Phytophthora. In that way, in a sense that we can deliver you high quality avocados. Okay, so we're just going to call this Avocado JUNTAK. Now, in this segment, I may have forgotten something out of it. If you ever have a question, please feel free to put it in the comment section below. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Okay. Now, today, what I'm about to show you is how to open up an avocado. So you have an avocado here. So I'm going to say this is the horizontal, this is the vertical. Okay. Now, what you do is when you're opening up an avocado, so you want to cut it through vertical like this. All right. So, sorry. From here, so the first thing you do is once you have cut it around vertically, you twist it on side like that, and it opens. All right. Now, once it opens like this, obviously you can take out the skin of it. And then to take this seed out, one of the easiest way is just use a knife like that and twist it, and it pops out like that. And this is how you know a good quality avocado when you see one. Okay, obviously you don't see any marks, any black things, and like whatnot. It's just pure clean. Okay. Now everything that is inside is edible. Now obviously you don't eat the seeds. However, if you happen to have ever interested in getting avocado oil, you can get it from the seeds, but that's for another video segment. All right. Now, obviously, there are many ways you can do this. You can either peel them. It's just kind of like that. You can peel them, right? And you can just eat them like that after you cut it. And that's why I usually like to eat avocados. It's completely raw. And how do you know an avocado is delicious? Well, you eat it raw at its most maximum ripeness. You eat it the way it is without any additions, without any sugar or anything like that. Then you know it's raw. Now, avocados basically, I mean, it is it is creamy, yes. Yes, it is, how do I say? It's all that, and some people say it's kind of buttery, whatnot, and also nutty, yes. But one of the benefits that the avocado that we grow is that it has some slight sweetness into it, okay? Now, it's kind of difficult to say if all avocados like that, but what we found is that avocados, if you are able to leave it at a tree until its maximum ripeness, like what I was saying earlier, as it becomes kind of like more of opaque, okay, is that it develops some level of sweetness, okay? And why is that important? Because what would happen is a lot of people, when they eat avocados, and they don't feel it as sweet enough, they'll add sugar, they'll add, I don't know, condensed milk, they add in all kinds of stuff. And if you do that, the problem is you're negating the health benefits of eating avocados in the first place. And makes you wonder, well, why even bother eating avocados? And if you want to be healthy, then eat it the way it is right now. And that's why it was so important that I was stressing out earlier. When you choose avocados, find something that is kind of opaque on the skin, if possible. Again, I do realize some of you live in areas that's not avocado producing countries or areas, and what can you do? The best you can do is just kind of choose the one as best as you can. But the ones who are fortunate enough living in the Florida area or more tropical area, California, Mexico, whatnot, find something. If you can find an avocado farm, make friends with a farmer or someone who's how do I say, a distributor that deals with this, and choose and ask them very specifically. Ask them to find something that's more big, because that's how you're going to find something that's very, 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 very ripe. And the way how just eat it like this. That's how you know if you don't add any, how do I say, any extra ingredients to it, and you can eat it and you feel good about it, then that means that's for you. Now, there are some varieties that are kind of thicker skin. This is not that. Now, the one that is more thicker skin, some of them you can cut them like this and just kind of like peel off like that, whichever that you like it. Some people can do that, okay, but I don't do that. Now, that's one way if you want to use this knife. Now, at the farm, sometimes, well, obviously one of the benefits of being an avocado farm, we have a whole farm, and when we don't have access to what do you call it, to a knife or whatnot, a lot of times when we find something that's very, very ripe, we just kind of smush it, right, and crack it open like that, and just scoop it up with a spoon like this, and that's how I would eat it. Okay, and the fact that you can peel off, you can scoop the meat out very easily. That's how you know it is very, very ripe. Okay? I was using a spoon so I can act a little bit more civilized. Otherwise, I usually at the farm, I just use my hands and just yank it out. But I don't do that today, okay? Same thing as well here. This is the one that I cut earlier with a knife. One of the things that people can eat, you just use a spoon, you scoop it out, all right? And the benefit of eating avocados, you can do this to avocados. Now, if you open it and you scoop out the meat and you taste some level of astringent, if it tastes a little bit kind of funny, again astringent, then you know that wasn't ripe enough, okay? And you open up too soon. But before you do that, that's why I was telling you, I strongly recommend that you press a little bit with your hand and see whether it's soft enough, and that's how you know it's ripe. So obviously, if it's not soft to the touch, and it's not ripe, don't open it, okay? So just don't do that. And another thing as well that I really recommend is, how do I say? You don't really have to wash the skin, all right? I mean, most of the time it's pretty clean, unless if you if you drop the floor or something like that, yeah, you can wash it. But most of the time you don't have to do anything extra or anything special with it. And that's one of the benefits of avocados, all right? Now, I hope this short segment tells you a little bit on how to choose an avocado, and Again, as a recap, so number one, find an avocado that is round in shape if possible. Number two, see if you can find something when you choose them a little bit kind of like opaque in color. Okay. Number three, what did I say? Find something that is weight between 170 grams to 450 grams. So roughly you're looking anywhere between 4 or 5 ounces to, I don't know, 15 ounce maximum. Okay. Don't get something that's too small. Don't get something too big. All right. I won't get too worked up in terms of variety or cultivar or whatnot. I mean, you can only choose whichever you have access to. Okay, but I do recommend if you live in an area that is, fortunate enough, like Florida, or if you're in California, or let's say you're in Hawaii, or any other tropical country or whatnot. Again, befriend an avocado farmer if at all possible. Buy them directly and go from farmers market and whatnot, and support your local agriculture farmers as well. Okay, your local produce. It will not only it's healthier for you because and most likely you can also check out what the farm looks like, and they don't use chemicals or pesticides and whatnot, and you will also be helping out your local farmers as well, which is very, very good. Okay, so it's a win-win solution. So I hope this helped you a lot today, and if you have any questions, let me know. Again, my name is PJ, and thank you for watching our channel. Thank you.